Today, we've got the Guardians of the Galaxy taking on the Suicide Squad. Who comes out on top? Well, let's find out.
Eyes up. Stay sharp. Stay down. Final warning. I could do this all day.
The Guardians of the Galaxy are a band of mercenaries and thieves, brought together by nothing more than circumstance. While originally none of them wanted to do anything with one another and pretty much hated each other's guts, they eventually grew to become a tight-knit family capable of saving the entire universe from galactic threats that only they can handle. The Guardians of the Galaxy consist of Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Yondu, and Mantis. Star-Lord is the leader of the team. While he is technically a human-celestial hybrid, he really relies upon his gear and weapons whenever he gets into a fight. He's got jet boots that allow him to fly, laser bows to wrap people up, gravity mines, and his go-to are his guns, which are able to either instantly kill people or send superhumans flying backwards. Gamora is the daughter of Thanos and is the deadliest woman in the galaxy. She's strong enough to lift and carry a massive ship cannon, is durable enough to survive massive explosions, she's fast enough to dodge blaster shots at close range. Gamora is also an exceptionally skilled fighter, being able to take down plenty of prison guards, kill giant monsters, and beat Nebula in every single one of their fights except for one. Drax the Destroyer is kinda a savage brute, and is strong enough to tear metal drones in half, pull Korrath's implants out of his head, and is durable enough to take attacks on Ronan, Thanos, started being hit straight on by Rocket's ship, and easily withstood a crash landing on the outside of the ship, hitting dozens of trees in the process. In fact, he seemed to enjoy the whole thing. Rocket Raccoon is the tech and weapons master of the group, and while he might not look like much at first, he is strong enough to knock people out with just a few punches, can take attacks from Ronan, and is fast enough to run through and possibly even dodge gunfire. He also carries an assortment of gear, all sorts of guns and explosives, a personal force field, and is a skilled fighter and planner. Groot is the muscle of the group, and he's strong enough to impale several soldiers with his vines, then use them to beat other soldiers to death. He's also durable enough to easily take attacks from Drax, withstand plenty of gunfire coming his way, and is even able to regrow severed limbs. Groot also has the ability to grow and manipulate his body, creating shields or entangling opponents. Yondu is one of the newer additions to the Guardians, and his signature weapon has got to be his Yaka arrow. And this thing is insanely powerful, being able to pretty much instantly kill dozens of men and take down whole ships full of enemies. Then, finally, we got Mantis. While she isn't much in a fight, Mantis does have the crazy ability to be able to read and manipulate other people's emotions, even this power to subdue both Ego, a Celestial, and Thanos with 4 Infinity Stones. So we got in one corner everybody's favorite rapscallions, the Guardians of the Galaxy. But, entering the ring another team of mercenaries, thieves, and killers, the Suicide Squad. Created by the US government in preparation for a possible evil Superman and the rising threat of metahumans, Task Force X, codenamed the Suicide Squad, the team composed of all criminals, tasked with doing the government's black ops work, and turned for a reduced prison sentence. The Suicide Squad consists of Rick Flag, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Killer Croc, Deadshot, Katana, and El Diablo. Rick Flag is the leader of the team, being described as the finest special forces officer that the US has ever produced, and he can definitely hold his own in a fight, taking down plenty of men and monster soldiers. Harley Quinn is incredibly agile, being able to get up on top of a motorcycle in mid-crash and run up walls. Jesse's surprisingly a real skilled fighter, taking down police officers and mutant soldiers by herself and headshotting 2 monsters while in mid-flip. She also definitely isn't afraid to flaunt her assets. Captain Boomerang is one of the most skilled thieves in the world, having robbed every bank in Australia at least once. Also strong enough to knock out Special Force soldiers with just one punch. He's able to actually kill people with his boomerangs, and also knows how to use boomerangs as melee weapons as well. Digger even has explosive boomerangs. Killer Croc could be considered the muscle of the group. He's able to take on multiple grown men at once, take down monster soldiers with one punch, actually throwing those monsters about a dozen or so feet. Also, a freaking savage, isn't afraid to kill people, and even ate a man's hand. Deadshot is easily the most accurate man alive, and possibly the most accurate man who has ever lived. And while he is physically impressive, his go-to weapons have got to be his guns. It's said that he's considered lethal at over 4,000 meters, or 2.5 miles. He's able to hit the same spot on multiple different targets, multiple different weapons, after not having held a gun in 9 months. He's even so skilled, he's able to ricochet bullets in order to hit a target. Katana is an assassin and modern day samurai, wielding the Soul Taker, a sword that, you guessed it, takes its victim's souls. She is fast enough to dodge Digger's boomerangs, strong enough to cut monsters in half, and is incredibly skilled, taking down multiple men at the same time, easily killing monster soldiers, and Katana is actually one of the few who's able to hold her own against Enchantress. Then, finally, we've got El Diablo. El Diablo has the natural ability to manipulate fire, considering half of a prison yard, channeling his fire in a flamethrower fashion in order to burn some monsters. Is even able to create small constructs with his flames. Diablo can also transform into an enhanced fire avatar, who is strong enough to overpower Incubus, and very nearly killed Incubus before the form ran out. The whole team is also incredibly durable, as they're able to survive plenty of helicopter crashes and get up like nothing had happened. So, who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, you can make an argument that these teams both kind of occupy the same space in their respective universes, being teams that can do a bit of good, but also a bit of bad. So, they're kind of ripe for comparison. But also, it doesn't hurt that now James Gunn has been put in charge of both franchises, with him directing the new Suicide Squad as well as Guardians. So, like I said, this fight just kind of makes sense. But who is coming out on top here? Now, at first glance, it might look like the Suicide Squad is kinda outmatched. This is a stomp in the Guardians' favor. After all, the squad is a team pretty much solely of just normal humans. They've only gone up against one major threat, Enchantress and her forces. On the other hand, the Guardians are all superhuman, even Peter to some extent, and have taken on much more dangerous opponents. Ronan and his army threatening to destroy a planet, Ego threatening to destroy the universe, who was literally a god, and Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, who also became essentially a god with those Infinity Stones. And Thanos again, except this time he was backed up by an absolutely massive army. But I really think that upon closer look, this isn't the stomp that some people might be suggesting. I mean, let's take an actual look at the Suicide Squad. For starters, we got Deadshot. His primary weapon of choice is a modified AR-15 assault rifle. His backup gun is a heavily modified Glock 17, and he's even got wrist-mounted machine guns. Floyd is also insanely accurate with these guns, hence the name, Deadshot. He's considered lethal up to 4,000 meters away. Just to put that into perspective, the longest confirmed sniper kill is only 460 meters. He's able to casually headshot multiple standing targets in a dead center with multiple different firearms. And they're always dead center. He's also got no problem taking on whole swarms of enemies, pretty much single-handedly bringing down a whole unit of monster troops. And the reason I bring up Deadshot is the fact that just because the Guardians could be considered superhuman, that doesn't mean that all of them are bulletproof. Not by any stretch of the imagination. On top of that, none of the Guardians have ever dodged bullets before, with the best being Gamora and Rocket dodging blaster bolts. And you can pretty easily argue that blaster bolts travel slower than a bullet. So, if Floyd plays his cards, that means that Star-Lord, Mantis, Yondu, and Rocket are down pretty much right from the beginning with a bullet in their head. Gamora and Drax could possibly survive a bullet, seeing as how they both have enhanced durability, and she's able to survive point-blank explosions, while he can survive crash landings. But even that is definitely debatable. The only one I know for sure is Groot, considering that he took bullets during the prison break. But even if we go on the more favorable end of the spectrum, so that Gamora, Drax, and Groot are all definitely bulletproof, that still means that Floyd could quickly kill Star-Lord, Mantis, Yondu, and Rocket. So over half the team. Then look at Katana and Harley Quinn. These two women are surprisingly skilled fighters, with Harley performing headshots while in mid-flip and taking down another monster soldier using hand-to-hand, while Katana has regularly been able to fight against multiple men all at the same time and even take on Enchantress herself. So yeah, Gamora might be the better, more powerful opponent than either one individually, but together and they can definitely put up a fight, especially with Katana and her magical sword that appears to be able to cut through most anything. Then, while Drax is definitely superhuman, one of the more powerful and dangerous fighters out here, Killer Croc should actually be able to give him a good fight. Yes, Drax is still stronger and more durable. He will rip metal apart with his bare hands, instead of being hit straight on a rocket ship, and easily staying crash landing on the outside of the ship, hitting dozens of trees in the process. But Croc can take on multiple SWAT officers at once, destroy a monster soldier's head with just one punch, and even send the monster soldiers flying backwards a dozen or so feet and crash into a car with one hit. So he might not be as powerful, but it's still powerful enough for Drax to give him his full attention. Then while Groot is the big muscle of the group, and arguably the most powerful one here, El Diablo is kind of the perfect counter for him. I mean, the guy controls fire, which burns wood, which is what Groot is made out of. Diablo can also transform into his giant fire avatar, where he's arguably just as strong as Groot, and take him out that way. And from there, Diablo could just incinerate the rest of the Guardians, like in the prison yard, basically shoot fire out of his hands like flamethrowers and burn them that way. So yeah, don't take the Suicide Squad lightly. They do have a genuine shot at winning this fight. But I think the Guardians might just have a better shot at winning here. For starters, Yondu is an incredible counter to Deadshot. In fact, Yondu might actually be better than Deadshot in this fight, because the Guardians aren't going to be running at Floyd in a straight line like the monsters were. They'll be running all around, fighting other squad members, and are just fast enough to avoid around gunfire itself. Not necessarily dodge bullets, but definitely aim and dodge normal shooters. And yes, Floyd will be able to tag them, but also have to aim all around as they move all around. On the other hand, Yondu can control his arrow with a thought, and change its path and trajectory in mid-flight, so he'll be able to turn and chase people down if they try and dodge or run from the fight. And unlike the Guardians, where they have some members that will send with Deadshot's bullets, no one is durable enough to walk away from Yondu's Yaka arrow. Groot also shouldn't be underestimated, as he can take people out quickly and effectively, like we saw when he impaled several soldiers with his vines, then used them to beat other soldiers to death. Groot can also manipulate his body and create shields to protect himself and other Guardians from any attacks coming their way. The Guardians of the Galaxy also just have more powerful weapons and gear, which does make sense, considering they're from outer space and a more advanced civilization. Like Star-Lord can fly all around with his boots, drop people with his laser bullets or gravity mines, just shoot and kill them with his blaster pistols. But I really want to focus on Rocket for a second. He's got plenty of guns able to take down the Suicide Squad, explosives the size of coins, and even a personal force field that will protect him from almost any attack. I'd even say that Rocket can take down El Diablo, even in his avatar form. You see, in his avatar form, Diablo was ultimately killed by a massive explosion, and I'm betting that Rocket can beat that. Drax and Gamora are also just physically more powerful than anyone here, and are very skilled fighters, allowing them to kind of plow through the squad. The Guardians also just have much better teamwork, have been in plenty of worse situations than this one before, and are constantly planning, working together as a team to take down their opponent. Not so for the Suicide Squad. And with all that being said, I'm gonna say the Guardians of the Galaxy are coming out on top here. Yes, they might lose a few members, especially Deadshot's bullets, no Diablo's fire, but at the end of the day, the Guardians are just more powerful. The Guardians of the Galaxy win. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts. Sign off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to hit that like button, the subscribe button, turn on notifications, join the FanCo army, and I will see you next time.